Okay, so now we will be talking about Fibonacci sequence. So what is meant by Fibonacci sequence? I'll give you an example of a Fibonacci sequence. So let's say we have here 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. So this is an example of a Fibonacci sequence, which means to say that the following terms of a Fibonacci sequence will only be obtained by getting the sum of the last two consecutive numbers. So 1 here is our first element or first term of our Fibonacci sequence. This is our second term. This is our third term. This is our fourth term. This is our fifth element of our Fibonacci sequence. This is our sixth element. This is our seventh element, eighth element, ninth element, and our 10th element. You have to remember that in a Fibonacci sequence, to find out, for example, our third element, we have to find the sum of the two previous elements. So 1 plus 1 will be getting 2. And to find out our fourth element is simply adding the last two elements, which are 1 and 2. So we'll be getting our fourth Fibonacci number. And our fifth Fibonacci number is simply adding our third element and fourth element of our Fibonacci numbers, and so on and so forth. We can also find out, let's say, the formula in finding, let's say, the desired nth term of a Fibonacci number by applying this formula. Let's say we have f sub n is equal to f sub n minus 2 plus f sub n minus 1, wherein n refers to the order or the position of the Fibonacci number that is being looked for. For example, we are going to find out our 10th element of this Fibonacci number. So how do we find out our 10th term of this Fibonacci number? It can be found out by simply using our formula. So we have our 10th Fibonacci number. We have here f sub 10 minus 2 plus f sub 10 minus 1. So now we have our 10th Fibonacci number will be having here the sum of the 8th element and the 9th element, which means to say that we can find out our 10th element or 10th Fibonacci number by simply adding the two elements of the given sequence, which are the 8th element and the 9th element. So our 10th element now would be, we have our 8th Fibonacci number, which is equal to 21. So we will simply substitute, and our 9th Fibonacci number or the 9th element of this given Fibonacci sequence, we have 34. So we are going to add now our 10th Fibonacci number is equal to 55. So we got here 55. So this is now the way in finding the desired Fibonacci number by simply applying this formula. And to find out, let's say, the desired Fibonacci number, we are just going to add the two last terms. So, okay. Now let us try also to find out how is this Fibonacci number being used. So let's say we have here a square, for example. So we have here a square that has a side or length of 1. So we have 1 and 1 going from that sequence. So we have, let's say here, we have two squares with a side or length of 1. Then, we will be drawing again another big square, and the side of which this square will be equal to 2. How did we get 2? 1 plus 1. That's it. Now, we will be drawing again another big square. So this is again another big square. So we have, what is now the side of the square? It is equal to 3. Now, we are going to draw again another square from these figures. Now, we will be getting now a square whose side is equal to 5, because we have 3 plus 1 plus 1. And as you can see, this is following a Fibonacci sequence. Then another, we will be getting another square. So what is now the length of the side of this square? We will be getting now 8. From this 8, we will be getting another square which is bigger as compared to the previous squares. So here, we will be getting now 13. A square whose side or length is equal to 13. And another square, if we are going to draw here, this would become now a square whose side or length of its side will be equal to 21. Now, if we will be drawing another square, so this would be a square now whose side would be equal to, this would be a square whose length or side would be equal to 34. How did we get 34? 21 plus 5 plus 8. Because 21 plus 5 is 26 plus 8 is equal to 24. Now, from this, we will be getting now the so-called golden ratio. So, from our two squares with side of 1, so it will go from this to here and then all over again. So this is now the golden ratio. But the golden ratio is taken mainly from the meaning of these Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so that's it. Thank you.